You slowly rise from your chair, and there it is again, that sharp, stubborn pain in your knee. Climbing the stairs feels like a mountain, and standing up from bed takes more effort than it should. Is this just old age catching up, or could something else be silently tearing your knees apart? Here's the truth. Many exercises that seem healthy, like running or squatting, are actually causing long-term damage to aging joints. If you're over 60 and still doing these routines, you may be accelerating the breakdown of your knees without even realizing it. If you've been struggling with knee pain and wondering whether your daily movements might be making things worse, you're in the right place. This video is going to walk you through 6 common exercises that are often recommended for seniors, but are actually accelerating joint deterioration. These are the very routines that may be pushing your knees toward long-term damage, even surgery, without you realizing it. But don't worry, we're not here to tell you to stop moving. Quite the opposite. You're going to learn exactly which exercises to avoid, why they're harmful, and what safer, smarter options you can start doing today to protect your knees. These solutions are practical, backed by science, and tailored specifically for older adults. Because staying active isn't just about moving, it's about moving right. And when you move right, you don't just preserve your mobility, you protect your freedom. Exercise number 1. Deep squats, the fast track to knee replacement. At first glance, deep squats seem like a solid choice for building leg strength. You've probably seen fitness trainers recommend them everywhere, from gyms to senior wellness videos. They say it's all about keeping your legs strong and your balance sharp. And years ago, when your knees were younger and more forgiving, that may have been true. But here's the problem. Deep squats push aging knees far beyond their natural comfort zone. Every time you lower yourself into a deep bend, your knees are forced to flex past 90 degrees. That movement places intense pressure on the cartilage, tendons, and ligaments, parts of your joint that are already thinner, weaker, and less elastic with age. In younger bodies, cartilage acts like a thick cushion between bones. It absorbs shock, protects your joints, and helps you move freely. But after decades of use, that cushioning wears down. For seniors, each deep squat is like grinding away what little protection is left. Over time, that great exercise becomes a direct route to bone-on-bone contact inflammation and irreversible joint damage. The warning signs often start small: a little stiffness in the knees, after standing up, a soft ache, after exercising, maybe a click or pop that wasn't there before. Many people brush it off. It's just old age, they say, but the damage is already being done. Tiny microtears build up, cartilage begins to erode, and then one day, it happens. A sharp jolt of pain, a knee that gives out, a moment where your body tells you very clearly that it can't take the pressure anymore. And from that point on, you may find yourself facing physical therapy injections, or worse, surgery. Some seniors try to push through the discomfort thinking it builds toughness. But pain is never just part of the process. It's your body's way of waving a red flag. Ignoring it won't make you stronger, it will leave you with fewer options later on. So, what can you do instead? Try partial squats using the back of a sturdy chair for support. Lower yourself just enough to engage your muscles without pushing your knees into extreme flexion. Focus on slow, controlled movements. You can also switch to wall sits or seated leg lifts, both of which build strength without grinding your joints. A question we often hear is, can I still do squats if I take it slow and don't go too deep? The answer, yes, but only if you limit your range of motion and listen to your body. If you feel pain, stop immediately. Controlled, modified movements are far safer than trying to force your knees into deep positions they no longer tolerate. The truth is, you don't have to give up on strengthening your legs, you just need to do it smarter. Deep squats may look like progress, but for aging joints, they're often a hidden setback waiting to happen. Exercise number 2, running on hard surfaces, the silent joint killer. Running has long been praised as the ultimate heart-healthy exercise. It's simple, free, and gets the blood pumping. For decades, you may have seen joggers in parks, down sidewalks, or on city streets, all staying fit by pounding the pavement. and perhaps you've even done it yourself. But after 60, your joints aren't built for that kind of impact anymore. What used to be a light run is now a full-on assault on your knees. Every step you take on a hard surface like asphalt or concrete sends a shockwave through your legs. That impact can be up to 5 times your body weight. And unlike when you were younger, your knees no longer have the cushion to absorb that force. Cartilage, once thick and elastic, has thinned out over the years. The spongy layer that once protected your bones from rubbing against each other, it's not what it used to be. So now, instead of bouncing back from each step, your knees take the full hit. Bone grinding on bone over and over. You might not feel it right away. That's what makes this type of damage so dangerous. At first, it's just morning stiffness, a dull ache after a long walk, some discomfort on the stairs. But those are your warning signs. Your knees are telling you this isn't working anymore. Still, many seniors keep running either out of habit or because they think it's keeping them strong. But what they don't realize is that every run on a hard surface is wearing away their cartilage, irritating their joints, and setting them up for long-term damage. We're talking about chronic swelling joint instability and the grinding pain that comes with bone-on-bone arthritis. It doesn't stop there. In many cases, runners over 60 experience sudden knee failure. One day you're jogging along and then snap. A sharp pain, a loud pop, and your leg won't hold weight anymore. That's how torn ligaments, meniscus injuries, and osteoarthritis begin. The recovery. It's no longer just a week of rest. It can mean months of rehab steroid injections or even surgery. And even then, many people say their knees never feel the same again. So what's the alternative? You don't need to stop exercising, but you do need to switch to joint-friendly surfaces and activities. Try walking on grass dirt trails or indoor tracks. Swimming is a fantastic low-impact workout that strengthens your entire body without stressing your knees. Water aerobics and cycling are also excellent replacements that keep your heart healthy while protecting your joints. You might be wondering, isn't running still good for cardio though? Yes, but not if it costs you your knees. There are safer ways to get the same cardiovascular benefits without the long-term damage. It's not about quitting, it's about adapting. You've earned the right to take care of your body without punishing it. So the next time you lace up your sneakers, take a moment to think about where you're running. Your heart might thank you, but so will your knees. Exercise number 3, high-impact jumping. The hidden destroyer of knee health. Jumping exercises might sound like a great way to stay active and agile. You've probably seen fitness videos that recommend jumping jacks, box jumps, or jump squats, even for seniors. The idea is to keep your body quick and your muscles sharp. But here's the truth that rarely gets talked about: jumping as one of the most dangerous forms of exercise for aging knees. When you're young, your joints are like shock absorbers. Your cartilage is thick, your ligaments are strong, and your muscles recover quickly. A few jumps? No big deal. Your knees could handle the landing even if it was a little rough. But with age, that all changes. The cartilage in your knees thins out. Ligaments lose their elasticity. Muscles take longer to heal. And when you jump, especially on a hard surface, your knees absorb an enormous amount of pressure. Each time your feet hit the ground, the force shoots straight through your knees, compacting the joint and stressing the connective tissue. At first, you may not notice it. Maybe you feel a slight twinge in your knee after a workout. Maybe it stiffens up later that night. You brush it off, thinking it's no big deal. But over time, those tiny shocks add up. Micro tears form in your cartilage, inflammation builds, and your joint loses the cushion that once protected it from serious damage. Then one day it happens. You land just slightly off center. A sharp pain shoots through your knee. You feel something shift. You can't stand up without holding on to something. That small jump. It just triggered a torn meniscus, or worse, a ligament injury that requires months of recovery. Many seniors don't realize the damage until it's too late. They think jumping is still fine because it doesn't hurt in the moment. But what they don't see is the slow breakdown happening with every rep. These injuries don't just affect your workouts, they affect your life. Climbing stairs becomes a painful chore. Getting in and out of the car feels risky. Even stepping off a curb becomes something you second guess. So what's the alternative? Swap out high-impact exercises for low-impact movements that are just as effective but far safer for your joints. Marching in place, swimming water aerobics, and elliptical machines all give you cardiovascular benefits without the bone-jarring landings. You can even try chair-based cardio routines, perfect for staying active while keeping your knees protected. A common question is, if I don't jump, won't I lose agility? Not at all. You can build agility through controlled balance exercises, side steps, mini squats, and reaction drills. The key is to train smart, not recklessly. Your knees aren't what they used to be, and that's okay. Your training just needs to evolve, the bottom line. Jumping might feel like a quick, effective workout, but for seniors, it's a silent destroyer doing far more harm than good. Choose movement that protects you, not punishes you. Exercise number 4, leg press with heavy weights, the cartilage crusher. On the surface, the leg press machine looks like one of the safest tools in the gym. You're sitting down, your back is supported, your movement is controlled, it feels secure, even gentle. But for seniors, this machine can be one of the most deceptive and dangerous traps for knee health. Here's why the leg press puts your knees in a fixed, unnatural position while placing intense force directly on the joint. And when you stack on heavy weights, you're not just building leg strength, you're compressing the cartilage inside your knees with every single repetition. In younger years, your knees could handle the pressure. The cartilage was thick, well lubricated, and elastic enough to absorb the load. But as you age, that cushioning wears thin. The fluids that help your joints glide smoothly begin to dry out. Your tendons aren't as forgiving. And when you push heavy weight at a locked angle, your knee joint can't disperse that stress the way it used to. What happens next is subtle but serious. You might notice a little stiffness when you get up from the machine, maybe a lingering ache that sticks around longer than it should. Most people write it off as muscle soreness. But what's really happening is slow, silent erosion inside the joint. The cartilage is being squeezed, literally crushed under repetitive pressure. Tiny cracks form, fluids get pushed out, and bone begins to press against bone. Over time, this leads to inflammation, swelling, and a grinding pain that doesn't go away after a rest day. It just gets worse. Then comes the breaking point. It might be a sudden pop mid-rep, a deep, sharp pain that won't let you straighten your leg. You try to lower the weight, but your knee locks up. What just happened? Likely a torn meniscus, or even a fractured kneecap. Injuries from leg press machines in seniors aren't rare. They're just rarely expected. And once they happen, recovery is long, painful, and often incomplete. What's worse is that these injuries don't just impact your workouts, they impact your life. Suddenly, everyday movements, like getting into a car, climbing a step, or walking down the hallway, feel exhausting. That sense of control and strength you were trying to build, it's gone. So what should you do instead? Start with body weight exercises. Build strength without loading your joints to the breaking point. Chair squats. Wall sits or resistance bands allow for natural knee movement while still challenging your muscles. If you want to add weight, use light dumbbells while standing, not machines that trap your joints in rigid positions. And always focus on form and control, not numbers on the weight stack. Progress isn't about lifting heavier, it's about moving better, safer, and longer. A common question seniors ask is, can I still use the leg press if I go light? Possibly, but only under professional supervision and only with perfect form. Even lightweight at the wrong angle can do damage if your knees aren't aligned correctly. At this stage in life, protecting your cartilage is far more valuable than chasing more reps. You don't need a machine that forces your knees to bend unnaturally to build strength. You need smart, sustainable movement that respects what your body has already been through and sets you up for the years ahead. Exercise number 5, lunges, the ligament strainer. Lunges are often seen as a classic go-to move for improving strength, stability, and balance. They're recommended in nearly every senior workout video, especially those targeting lower body strength. But for aging knees, lunges can be one of the riskiest movements you can do, especially if you're already dealing with thinning cartilage or weak ligaments. On paper, a lunge looks simple. Take a step forward, lower your body, and push back up. But what most people don't realize is how much stress this movement places on the knee joint, especially the front knee, which ends up bearing most of your body weight. With each repetition, that knee is forced into a deep angle, putting intense strain on the ligaments, tendons, and joint surfaces, many of which have already degraded with age. If your balance is off even slightly, or if your step is too wide, you increase the load exponentially. One wrong angle, one unstable step, and you're risking ligament tears, meniscus strain, or even a patellar dislocation. At first, the signs seem minor. Maybe your knee feels a little sore after your workout, a dull ache that lingers the next morning, some tightness that makes it harder to stand up from the couch. But over time, these small warning signs build up. The cartilage starts to erode. The ligaments are overstretched again and again, and the joint becomes more unstable with every rep. Then comes the misstep. You lunge just a little deeper than usual. Your foot slips ever so slightly. A sharp pain shoots through your knee. You feel something shift. You try to stand up, but your leg refuses to cooperate. In that moment, what seemed like a harmless body weight exercise becomes the cause of months of pain rehab and reduced mobility. The bigger issue is, this lunges don't just put you at risk during exercise, they can also impact your confidence in daily life. If your knee becomes unstable or injured, even walking across the room or standing from a chair can feel daunting. So what's the safer route? Try a static split squat instead. Instead of stepping forward and back with every rep, place your feet in a fixed, staggered stance and lower your body up and down slowly. Keep your hands on a wall or sturdy chair for balance. This eliminates the shifting weight and momentum that often lead to injury. Another good alternative, step-ups onto a low surface, using a rail or countertop for support. Or, even better, try wall sits to strengthen your thighs and glutes without putting your knees in a vulnerable position. A common concern many seniors ask, but I want to improve my balance, isn't lunging the best way? Not necessarily. Balance training doesn't have to involve risky movements. You can train stability with one-leg stands, heel-to-toe walking, or balance boards. These options challenge your body without placing unnecessary force on your knees. Remember, just because an exercise is labeled functional doesn't mean it's safe for every stage of life. Your knees have different needs now, and respecting those changes isn't weakness, it's wisdom. If lunges have been causing discomfort or even mild strain, it's time to reconsider your routine. There are better, safer, and just as effective ways to build strength without putting your knee health on the line. Exercise number 6. Stair climbing with heavy loads, the overlooked daily danger. Climbing the stairs is something most people do without even thinking. It's part of everyday life, bringing up groceries, carrying laundry, heading to bed. But when you're over 60, and especially if you're hauling heavy items while doing it, this routine task can become a major threat to your knees, and you may not even realize it until it's too late. Here's why stair climbing with weight is so risky for seniors. Each step up already puts double your body weight on your knees. Add a heavy bag backpack, or even a few shopping items, and that pressure multiplies. Suddenly your knees are under 3, sometimes 4 times their normal load, forced to support not only your frame, but everything you're carrying. And unlike exercises in the gym where form is controlled and surfaces are flat, stair climbing happens in the real world with uneven steps, awkward loads, and unpredictable movement. The margin for error is razor thin. What starts as a little soreness after a trip upstairs can quickly evolve into something more serious. Maybe you feel a grinding sensation when you descend, a clicking sound when you bend your knee, a growing stiffness after unloading bags. These are early red flags your joints are under too much stress. Over time, the cartilage in the knees wears down faster. Ligaments become overstretched from repeated strain. The tendons holding everything together lose elasticity. Eventually, your knee loses the ability to absorb shock or recover from minor missteps. That's when accidents happen. One bad step, one awkward twist while holding groceries, a sudden jolt of pain. You reach for the railing, but your knee buckles before you can stabilize. This is how many seniors suffer torn ligaments, strained meniscus tissue, or even patellar injuries just from climbing stairs. And here's the part most people don't expect: going down the stairs is actually more damaging than going up. Why? Because your knees act like brakes, absorbing all the downward momentum. With weakened joints, this absorption becomes destructive, each step grinding your cartilage a little thinner. The psychological impact is just as real. Many seniors who've experienced knee pain or near falls begin to avoid stairs altogether. They fear the pain, the instability, the humiliation of needing help. And slowly that fear chips away at their independence. So, what's the solution? Start by reducing load. Break up heavy items into smaller trips. Use a cart or backpack that evenly distributes weight. Always hold onto a railing even if you think you don't need it. When possible, use elevators or ramps, especially if your knees are already showing signs of wear. At home, install handrails on both sides of your staircase if possible. Take your time on every step. There's no prize for rushing. If you want to build leg strength, there are safer, smarter alternatives: step-ups on low platforms, seated resistance band exercises, or walking on inclined treadmills set at slow speeds. These protect your joints while still training the muscles involved in stair climbing. A common question many seniors ask is, should I avoid stairs completely? Not necessarily, but you should respect them. Your knees may no longer handle the same loads they used to, and that's okay. It's not about avoiding movement, it's about managing it wisely. Stair climbing isn't inherently bad. It becomes dangerous when combined with extra weight, weakened joints, and poor support. You don't have to stop using the stairs, but you do have to be strategic about how you use them. Every step you take should support your independence, not put it at risk. You don't have to stop moving. You just have to start moving smarter. If you've recognized any of the 6 exercises we just covered in your daily routine, don't panic. The good news is, it's not too late. Your knees may be worn, but they're not beyond help. With the right changes, you can protect the joint health you still have, and in many cases, even improve how you feel day to day. Let's start with a simple, realistic 30-day joint protection plan. Week 1, 2. Replace high-impact cardio with low-impact alternatives, like walking on soft surfaces, swimming, or using a recumbent bike. Focus on gentle movement daily, even if it's just 15 minutes at a time. Week 3. Introduce balance and flexibility training. Add chair-based yoga. Tai Chi or standing balance drills like heel-to-toe walking and one-leg stands. These exercises strengthen the muscles around your knees while improving control and coordination. Week 4. Begin light resistance training. Use resistance bands or very light dumbbells to target your legs, especially the quads, hamstrings, and glutes. Focus on slow, controlled reps rather than heavy weights or deep bending. In all weeks, include gentle morning stretches. A few minutes of movement each morning can loosen tight muscles and reduce pressure on your knees throughout the day. You don't need to spend hours at the gym. Just 20 to 30 minutes a day of smart, knee-friendly movement can make a huge difference in your strength, confidence, and independence. And here's something to remember: progress doesn't mean pushing through pain. It means respecting your body and working with it, not against it. Your knees have carried you through decades of hard work, long walks, and life's most meaningful moments. Now it's time to return the favor. Take care of them today so they can take care of you tomorrow. You don't have to give up the things you love. You just have to approach them with a little more care and a lot more wisdom. Have you been doing any of these 6 exercises without realizing the damage they may be causing? If even one of them sounded familiar, drop a yes in the comments. We want to hear your story. Your experience could help someone else avoid the same pain. And if this video opened your eyes, consider sharing it with a friend, sibling, or neighbor. You might just protect their knees before it's too late. Don't forget to subscribe for more practical, senior-focused tips on movement strength and longevity. Together, we're building a community where aging doesn't mean slowing down. It means getting smarter, staying stronger, and living life on your own terms. Your knees deserve better. Let's take the next step together.